What's up YouTube? I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, competitive games from tabletop to video games, and today we are reviewing my friend's Red D-Reaper deck because he's been having a lot of success with it, going undefeated at multiple local events, even at one time hitting 3 different events at 3 different stores and winning first place in every single one of them, which is very impressive because a lot of those locals actually had completely different players, so he wasn't facing against the same decks, the same players multiple times. So he definitely triumphed when he went against all these different decks. So he's definitely a very good player because I know some of you are going to say like, well, D Reaper is a helmet deck. I agree, but the thing is he is a type of player that is very diverse in playing meta decks, so he definitely knows how to play other decks as well, and he definitely knows how to beat them, so he could definitely pilot this deck very easily to his benefit. Now, before we begin, as always, friendly reminder to definitely like and subscribe, and especially subscribe because it really does help the channel a lot, and I do really appreciate it. So we're going to start with the Digi-8. So as we can see right here, he has 4 Mother D Reaper. Everyone pretty much has 4 Mother D Reaper. So there's a few things I want to point out. So a lot of people ask, how can this be raised or moved from the raising area? And it's pretty much simple like this. If the Digimon has DP, you could pretty much move it from the raising area because you can't really move a Digimon that doesn't have DP. So that's how Mother D Reaper is able to be moved. Another thing to note is that his effect of this Digimon can't attack and isn't affected by opponent's effect, only applies for the opponent's effect. So if you're against the black version, they could actually give Mother D Reaper blocker. Another thing I want to note is that surprisingly, he are not playing with these Reapers, so he doesn't play with the blocker ones. I see some people actually play the blocker. Surprisingly, he's not playing any of them. And even the rush one, I know a lot of people like playing this one to be more aggressive, so you could play it for free, have the rush, swing into security right away. And surprisingly, I see no one play this one, which I do get why, and especially that, yeah, play cost of 10 or less, so you can't really get Gatekeeper out, which kind of sucks. But it's not that bad, but I definitely understand why no one wants to play this one. So a bit too slow, and it's not really that beneficial compared to the other D Reapers. So let's get into his main deck. So first, he's playing 4 Pendulum Feet because this is definitely mandatory. You definitely need to play this to speed up the process, to get more searchers, to get your other D Reapers into hand. So it's definitely mandatory to play this because it definitely thins out the deck a lot. Especially if you're playing multiple of it, you definitely could actually plus like 4 or even more, depending how many you're playing of this. So definitely a good card. Then we have 4 bubbles, definitely mandatory as well because it's pretty much one of the best ways to actually get your searchers under Mother D Reaper. So definitely mandatory to play 4 of that. Now, surprisingly, he is playing 4 Jerry's. I've seen a lot of people change it, play less, but I think you definitely need Jerry because it's definitely a really good card. You could just suspend it to add the searchers and just put it underneath Mother D Reaper right away. So it's definitely gives a little extra putting your searchers right away and definitely speeds up the process. So then after that we have heads. Now I've seen builds that they're not even playing this at all. I think this is definitely mandatory because it definitely gets rid of a lot of nuisance cards. So if you have any Digimon that could be very threatening, this definitely gets rid of it. Also against like mirror matches, you could actually pop your opponent's Gatekeeper as well because this is definitely going to have way more than 10,000 DP. So definitely it's a mandatory card to have. He's only playing 3, which honestly I think it's quite good. Then he has 4 Gatekeeper because you need to have 4 of this. This is definitely a nuisance, and especially that you're just minusing all your opponent's security attacks by 1. But a lot of people forget one thing though. His ability only works if Mother D Reaper has 6 or more searchers. So A lot of people forget that and or are not aware of it, is that they assume as soon as this come out, they can't do any security attacks. But no, Mother D Reaper needs to have 6 searchers underneath her for him to get that ability. So keep that in mind if you're against D Reaper and someone plays the Gatekeeper, make sure that they actually have 6 or more. And this is where the issue comes with D Reapers, is that if you have a very fast-paced deck, you're able to beat them before they even have 5 searches underneath it, or even at 5. Like some of my decks are just very fast-paced, so for me to beat D Reapers, it's very easy just because I could definitely do all the security checks right away before they get that 6 searcher underneath it. Now he is playing 4 Reapers, which I think honestly is definitely mandatory to play 4. I've seen a lot of people play less, but this is your main win con in a lot of the games. Now you can, don't get me wrong, you can actually win other ways as well, but this is what definitely gives that little extra and pretty much guarantees a win as soon as this is out. So you always want to see it. So it's definitely a really good card to definitely have. So I think 4 is mandatory. Okay, after that, we do have 20 searchers. Now, the ratios that I've been seeing a lot has been like 19. Okay, so I've seen a lot of decks playing only 19. So 20 isn't a big difference. 20 is a nice round number, don't get me wrong, but you know what? It's not an issue. I've seen as long as like even 18, I've seen some builds. So as long as it's like 18 or 19, you should be all set. If you want per more like 20, not an issue. It's still pretty consistent, and this is definitely a good card, especially that it gives you some deck thinning as well. So on play, you draw a card, which is pretty good. Okay, now we're going towards the red. So first we have Hero. So he pretty much have this as just a memory tamer, just to set the memory to 3. He's only playing 3 of them. Now, is there other red tamers that could be better suited? Probably. Um, but it's not bad at the same time. So definitely you can play Hero, not an issue. Actually, I didn't really check if there's this should be other red memory tamers besides Hero. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Now we have 3 Crimson Blade. Now, let me tell you about Crimson Blade. This card is a nuisance. This card is terrifying. This card is amazing. And it pretty much kills mostly all the decks. So, let me tell you. So, first, you can reduce the play cost by 1 for every Digimon your opponent has. So if your opponent has 2, this is just a play cost of 4. The main effect, delete all your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Not so bad, but it gets even better. Your opponent can't play Digimon by effects until the end of their next turn. Now let me tell you how much of a nuisance this is, especially with my Charabinion, okay? When they do this, like I can't OTK at all. And the worst part is the security activates this. So if you hit this in security, that means this turn and your next turn you can't play any Digimon by effects, because it literally says till the end of their next turn. So that means currently and the next one. But that's only if you hit it in security. If they actually just played it like a normal play cost, then it's just, you know, your next turn that you have. But if you hit in security, then it's going to be your current turn and your next turn, which is ridiculous. So definitely a nuisance card. And then finally we have Fireball that he's playing only at 1. I think I forgot to mention that he's playing Crimson Blade at 3. Honestly, I would actually play at 4. So Fireball at 1. Now I've seen people play more of it, so he's playing it just at 1. And the majority of time why people are playing this isn't to delete an opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. It's actually to draw 2. Now, if you're not able to delete a Digimon with 3000 DP or less, you're going to be able to draw 2 instead. And that is pretty much the priority of actually like this card. So everyone always wants to draw 2 with this card, not really delete a low DP guy that they have a bunch of other things that could actually get rid of it very easily. Now the security is just to play this, and it's not that bad for play cost of 2. It's a pretty good option card. Maybe play more, but yeah, he's playing pretty like only 4 options. Like I would actually play Fireball 2 pretty much if I were like changing. But honestly, this deck as is been working out for him a lot. So who knows? Maybe if you guys try this deck exactly as is, if it works out for you, great. If you make a few changes because you think it's going to be better or much more consistent, good for you as well. But definitely a very cool deck, and definitely it's not. I don't find this too much of a helmet deck. I know it's very basic with the Mother the Reaper, but you definitely have to have a understanding of the format and also what you're playing against. And that's it for a deck profile. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. And if you want a sneak peek of future products we're planning to review here on the channel, you can follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.